Troy McDonald with Coldwell Banker here today. I've been getting a lot of questions from people regarding investing in distressed properties. And so I've been giving a lot of thought, and so what I decided to do is go ahead and just write a investment guide regarding distressed properties. So I'm going to just kind of go through that today, offer some suggestions. If you'd like a copy of my Investing in Distressed Real Estate in Florida, a comprehensive guide, right here it is, just send me an email or a text message with your email address, and I'll send you over a PDF copy of it. So let's just get started right from the beginning. So first, what is a distressed property? You know, a lot of people don't really know. There's different types of distress. There's distress that's created by economic factors. They become economically obsolete, functionally obsolete, mortgage foreclosures, tax deeds. Those are some of the type of distressed properties. Some are distressed because of maybe there's an estate, the owner has died, become blighted. There's also distress from because maybe they're in a tourist area, and for whatever reason the tourist attraction that is in that area is not seeing the traffic it did in the past. Could be, it could be at a ski resort that's not getting snow anymore. It could be that there was a theme park nearby that closed. So there can be distress because of that. And then there's also distress from natural disasters, which we've certainly seen plenty of that here in the state of Florida. After 2004 and 5 with Hurricanes Francis and Jean and Wilma, we saw a lot of distressed properties due to hurricane damage. Most recently, last year we had Hurricane Ian. So let's just start off with mortgage foreclosures. That's probably the most common distressed property I hear about. What is a mortgage foreclosure and what does it mean to the property? So in the state of Florida, we have judicial foreclosures, and what a mortgage foreclosure is a bank, after a period of time of not receiving their mortgage payments, they will file a lawsuit in the circuit court to foreclose on the property. They will be looking to get a order for a judicial sale of the property along with a monetary judgment to have that property sold so they can receive their funds. Often they end up getting the property back themselves and having to sell the property. So the basic process is there's the pre-foreclosure portion, and that's the bank's going to be sending demand letters and letting them know that they're in default. And then from there it'll get escalated to the judicial proceedings, and that is where it's actually in the court, and ultimately the bank will look for a judge to order the forced sale of the home to pay for the mortgage. At that point, the house will go for an auction, and then once it's auctioned off, there will be a clerk's deed issued to the new owner, and then you go into post-foreclosure phase where you can then sell the property. There are risks with this. There's it's a very competitive market. You're really not getting a chance to look at the condition of the property because there's not inspections, there's no walkthroughs. It is what it is. And then sometimes there's legal challenges after the fact that you may have to deal with. So here's what I'd say for the foreclosures. If you want to maximize the foreclosure mark, first, build a network with real estate agents in your community that do foreclosures, work with attorneys, even court personnel where you can go in and pull the files and look at these. Do your research. Look at all of the information. Read the court file. Look at what properties are selling around it. Drive past the house. Be financially prepared for what you get, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you're getting. After the 2008 collapse of the real estate market, there were people that were going in and actually ripping out all of the copper wires and stripping the appliances out, prior to the house being foreclosed on. You get in there and you find out that the place has just been trashed, then that's on you to take care of that. There's nobody to go back to. And then most of all, make sure you have someone with some local expertise part of your team, so you know the area, and that'll help you determine competitive pricing. One of the next areas is tax deeds, and I'll have to admit I don't know a lot about the tax deeds. I haven't been really involved in any, but basically when someone doesn't pay their taxes, there's a point where through the clerk of the court, a tax deed will, or a tax certificate will be sold. And that's where someone comes in and pays the taxes is for that person, and they hold a certificate. And then that person has a period of so much time to redeem that tax certificate. Generally, the interest rate, there's an interest rate that's charged on the tax certificate. Generally, it's somewhere between 0 and 18%. It's actually a competitive process for these tax certificates. And then once the tax certificate goes on far enough, and if the owner has not redeemed the certificate, then the certificate holder can request to have the property sold, a tax deed sale, and have the property sold at auction. So, and that's an opportunity there. Again, like the foreclosure market, it's very competitive. There are often title issues with the property, and and again, you don't get to see what the property looks like inside, so you're taking those risks. And again, same kind of thing. You're going to need a network of attorneys, real estate agents, local experts, court personnel to help you navigate those processes. But there are a lot of risks that, like I said, but there's some opportunities as well. So I've stayed away from tax deeds. I haven't been involved with them as a real estate investor, but there are people that have been very successful out there doing tax deed sales. I think one of the biggest things to look at in another area is blighted properties. And I'd also include functionally obsolete properties. And the functionally obsolete properties can be brought because it's an old home that has not been renovated up to modern standards. It could be an old commercial building that is not only old, but it's not up to speed from a aesthetic, cosmetic aspect. And also, it may have been built during an era where where there were different types of uses that were very popular. Right now, we're seeing with remote work and online shopping, we're seeing retail and office space not as necessary. People need smaller spaces. Banks in particular, they went from very large buildings to very small. So the properties that were the banks or box stores of certain retailers, large office buildings, in some locations just aren't as popular as needed anymore. And so there are opportunities to convert those into other uses. But there's, again, lots of opportunity, but there are risks. You know, you need, especially with commercial property, if you want to convert it from one use to another, you may run into land use and zoning issues. So you're going to need, again, local experts. You're going to have to be talking to your local development department or planning and zoning departments with your local community where those properties are at. The blighted properties, those can make some of the best opportunities if you can buy them at the right price. You can fix them up, you can flip them, you can do that in residential areas. There are often people, when they're distressed, they often need cash in a hurry. Often these properties are unfinanceable because the properties are in such poor condition, and that leaves a lot of potential buyers out of the market if they can't finance it. And so why do you want to go into like these blighted or these functionally obsolete properties? Because often they're some of the most affordable properties out there. Again, a little bit of risk, potential lots of reward, but you do need to do your research, that make sure that you're providing the amount of, understanding the amount of money it's going to take to renovate the properties. One of the things that I would say, you need to put yourself together some best practices, that you follow on every sale and every purchase, every renovation, with not just distressed properties, but any type of real estate investment you can do. Do your due diligence. I can't underscore how much and how important your due diligence is. The more due diligence you do, the more successful it will be. Some of the key components of distressed properties is title insurance and doing title work. Make sure you got clear title to the property. It's a little bit more challenging in some of the, especially with the tax deeds and the mortgage foreclosures. But again, that's where legal counsel will come in to help guide you through that. Property inspections. Do a thorough inspection. Know what you're getting. Again, with the foreclosures and tax deeds, that's not an option. But with everything else, it is an option. Do a local market analysis. Make sure that the market is right. You don't want to go out and buy a property, spend a lot of money renovating it, just to find out that the market is changing and turning downward, and you're now going to be there with a property that you've spent a lot of money both purchasing and renovating, and then you can't sell it for what you put into it. Zoning and land use restrictions. This is utmost importance when it comes to commercial property. Make sure that you're getting that done. And then environmental assessments. This is primarily on your commercial properties, but you definitely want to be looking at the environmental. A few little tips. Leverage technology during your due diligence. Always over budget. Better to spend less money than more, but at least if you plan for the worst, hope for the best, and engage in continuous learning about what you're doing. And make sure that you understand what the construction techniques and the costs. Make sure you understand what's going on with the legal. Make sure you understand what's the community. Continue to do that research and keep learning. So these are just some of the areas that I've covered in my guide here. Investing in distressed real estate in Florida, a comprehensive guide. Again, if you give me a call, text, or an email, I'll send you a PDF. My number is 772-260-9458. Troy McDonald. I'll put my email address in the comments, and my phone number in the comments as well of this. And I will also be posting this on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. So, Troy McDonald, Coldwell Banker Real Estate. Hope to hear from you soon. My number again is 772-260-9458.